You got earrings.
Yes.
You got hoops. Giant
baby.
hoops. They actually hang to the ground.
Yes.
Yeah.
I hula hoop with both of them at times.
They're small hoops, guys. I'm just making a little joke.
They're rings. They're rings.
They're basically, yeah.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about why you decided to do that, why you got peer pressured into doing it.
Why I'm following all the trends,
Right.
conforming to society.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that after we roll the intro.
Warning, the following pre-recorded podcast will blow your mind. Broadcasting to Anchor, YouTube, Spotify, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts. Recorded in Cole's parents' basement. This is Small YouTube Channels Talk.
Welcome back to a podcast.
We're filming on a new program today, so everything's messed up.
Yeah, excuse.
Everyone's dying. We're filming on new programs.
GarageBand is trash. I'm officially removing it from my computer.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
It's a messy world right now.
Messy. Welcome to the Small YouTube Channels Talk podcast. I'm Jack, and that's Cole, and
Classic.
We're a couple of YouTubers who also make films, and I guess
we dabble in a bunch of other stuff.
Yes, that's also true.
Podcasts, movies, short films, shows, comedy skits.
It's all there.
Music,
even music. Yeah,
we do it all. Because we don't care.
That's right. We're even going to be on TV, which we talked about last podcast.
It's going to be
super.
Huge.
It's huge.
Believe me.
Huge. All right, let's get into the grittiness of it.
Let's get into it, fellas and ladies.
So we recently, maybe a week or two ago, we had a script reading for your film.
Shoreline.
That's right.
2020.
And who was there?
It was you,
of course.
James Anderson, Edward, and Dill and me.
Yes.
From Slick Trigger.
And Dill, shortly after we left, led you to making a decision.
Yes. So, okay. Last summer of 2019, right? A long time ago, I was just kind of wanting to get earrings for some random reason. Me and a couple other people were like, you know what? Let's just screw it and let's go get earrings. And we were about to, and we never got around to actually doing it. So then, last week we were doing the table read, and Dill's like, hey, you guys want to come with, or I'm going to go get my nose pierced. I'm like, really? Okay. So you go with Dill to this place.
Of course.
He gets his nose pierced, and one of my other friends was like, hey, last week I was right about to get my ears pierced. And I was like, well, if we're going to do it, let's just go do it, you know?
Right.
So we go in, and I didn't know what to think because I was like, I don't want to look like a girl. I don't want to get earrings and then not like them because it was like $50.
Right.
And so we get in there, and there's two people working the place doing piercings, and I'm like, guys, I was talking to them. I was like, I don't want to look girly. Do you think this is gonna look gay? I don't want to look gay. And they're like,
not that being gay is bad, but like you don't want to look gay
I was
if you're
like,
not gay.
I told her, I was like, yeah, I don't want to look gay. Is this gonna make me look gay? And then she goes, do I look gay? And I was like, well, you're a girl. And she's like,
whoa.
Yeah. And
wait, hold on, what is that supposed to mean?
And then she was like, well, I'm a lesbian. And I was like, no, that's just my luck. And then she's like, you hurt my feelings. And I was like, no, that's not what I meant. I said, I don't want to look gay. That's just my luck.
Yeah, because if you're straight, you don't want to look gay.
No, you don't want to look. I mean, and I told her, I was like, because I'm trying to get a girlfriend, okay?
Right.
Like, I'm not trying to attract dudes here, you know? And so then she actually gave my friend an infection in his ear. We may or may not think that the lesbian thing may be linked to it.
You think so?
I don't know.
That's really funny.
Because the girl that did mine did pretty good job.
Oh, so she did his. So
the lesbian did my friend.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Cole's, right?
Yep. And his ears bleeding, got infected.
Really?
Instantly.
Ugh,
yeah.
Nasty.
It is awful.
Instantly?
Like they said, like the next day was infected.
Wow. That's horrible. How are you faring? Have yours?
You know, I'm going back and forth. I'm trying to decide if I want to keep them or not. The nice thing about earrings is you can always take them out, you know?
Right.
I mean, like if I don't want them, I'll take them out and they'll close up in a day.
Right.
I mean, it's $50 down the drain, but it was a go. It was a go, right?
Right. Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
So Can I ask you why initially you wanted to get earrings? Do you know why? Maybe was it I might get a little personal here. Was it self-insecurity? Did you just want to try something new?
You know, where did the inspiration come from? You know, I was seeing like some old pictures, like my dad when he was like young and stuff, and he had earrings, and I was like, oh, that looks cool. Because like back in like the 90s, like earrings were like the thing, you know, everybody was getting earrings. Yeah. And so I seen some other people do it. I seen Michael Jordan. Actually, that was a big inspiration with his one earring in his left ear.
Yeah, a lot of NBA players actually have earrings.
Yeah. And that's just kind of my inspiration. I was like, oh, okay, well, you know what? I was actually originally going to just do one earring in my left ear just because I thought it would be cool. Like I'd be like Michael Jordan.
Supposedly one of them is the straight ear and one of them is the gay ear, I've heard, but I can't trust whichever.
That's
I can't
why
trust
I did them both.
any source. Yeah, because what if someone's telling you that it's the straight ear, but they're just trying to fuck with you and it's the gay ear?
The general thing that I've heard is the right ear is the gay ear.
Probably.
So I was going to do the left ear, but then somebody's like, no, I heard the left ear is the gay ear. I'm like, oh, well, I was doing both then, you know, I don't care.
Because I think I've heard that both ears is normal and or bi, but more commonly it'd be like you just got earrings,
right? Yeah,
you
just get them both pierced
to tell everyone that you're gay.
Right.
Plus, if you're going to tell everyone that you're gay, earrings is not the way to do it.
No, yeah.
You come out for a reason. You don't get earrings and be like,
no,
I'm
exactly.
only into men.
It's
Can't you see the one earring on the right ear? Like there's reasons for it. I never understood that whole right ear being no, it's kind of stupid.
And that was another thing too, is like just the fact of kind of everybody like gets studs nowadays, and like they get the studs in their ears, and the two choices that they have are studs and rings. I was like, well, it's different to get rings, you know. I'm all about being different, you know. I don't want to just get studs like everybody else. I was like, I'll do the rings and see how
which is more comfortable? Are they about the same? Because I feel like the studs
would probably honestly probably be more comfortable, because like these affect when I sleep. Like they like push up on my ear, and like I can like move them around, and like they sting, you know.
Because they're still closing.
Yeah, they're still closing.
They're still healing.
I still might take them out. I don't know yet, but we'll see how it goes. Are you gonna get earrings?
I'm thinking about it. The thing is, I told myself if I'm gonna get earrings the same day, I'm dyeing my entire head blonde.
Really?
Yeah. Which would be a very big visual change.
Yeah.
You know? It's a good thing I have a job where they don't care about like.
You should do that for a short appearance. Film.
You think so?
Yeah.
Like Adam Sandler, how he like completely changed his look for Uncut Gems, which by the way I watched.
What that you watched? Now we can talk about it.
Okay, so spoiler alert for Uncut Gems. That ending was fucking insane.
I was not expecting.
I was not expecting that either, but it felt so deserved. Yeah.
That's where it needed to be.
Yeah.
Lots of crazy things in it. Kevin Garnett's in it. The Weeknd's in it. Like,
Kevin Garnett, surprisingly very good at acting. Yeah. I did not expect to see, like, I knew it was in the trailer, but I did not really expect to see. It was just so funny watching Adam Sandler fight The Weeknd because The Weeknd wanted to be with Adam Sandler's girl, who isn't actually like his girl, it's his mistress, because he's married and he has kids. It's just this whole complicated situation, and I love it.
Yeah, I
love it so much.
All right, so let's talk about this movie here for a little bit. Okay, you want to hear my thoughts on it, or do you want to go first?
Actually, you know what? Let's get out of 5 stars. What would you give it?
Out of 5?
Out of 5 stars.
Can I do out of 100%?
Sure, let's do 100%.
Okay, that's usually how I rate, but I can do 5. 100%.
Well, you could do. Well, it's all basically the same thing. You could do 100%. You could do out of 10.
Right.
You know,
I'll try 100 usually because that's what I rate off of. I feel like they give me the most accurate. I would say out of 100%, I would give it a 72. I'm a hard grader, so that's a pretty good grade.
Sure.
What I thought about the movie, I love the aesthetic of the movie.
Same.
The feel, the music.
The soundtrack especially.
Soundtrack is awesome.
Very good.
It's perfect that they had The Weeknd in there because it's same style music that he does. I love the aesthetic. I love the initial chaotic feel of the movie. The thing I didn't like about it was that never went away. I felt like the entire movie was just this absolute chaos. And
See,
like,
that's the thing where I disagree, because I think it's a better film because it embraced that chaos, that
Really?
constant chaos. Because, so for me, I'd probably give it like a hard 7 to a soft 8 out of 10, just because it does, and it is such a good movie. But I watched it twice. First I watched it by myself, and then I watched it with my dad, because my dad's a big Adam Sandler fan. And let's just say my dad was expecting a normal Adam Sandler movie and not the film that we all watched. And he was like, wow, that was fucking insane. The entire movie I was on the edge of my seat, and I was like, yeah, not a lot of movies can do that really well.
Yeah.
And I do see what you mean, because like it is better to have those moments of calm in the film.
Yeah.
But even when there was moments of calm did not feel like moments of calm.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And that, I think that made it work really, really well.
Yeah, I can see both sides. Like, I would totally watch the movie again. So that's a plus. That's always a big plus when you would watch the movie again.
Rewatchability is very high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. So I'd totally watch the movie again. But again, like, I remember when I watched the movie, like, I just never felt like, usually yes, there are movies that have you on the edge for like the whole movie, but they do it in a way where like you get moments of downtime, you know, where you're like, okay, all right, like kind of regrouping time. This movie, I never felt like I could even catch my breath. You know what I mean? Like the whole movie, I was just, whoa, okay, like so much is going on all the time, which is the one downside I felt. But
the end especially was really, really well done, I think.
Yeah. The end was awesome. They did such a good job at making you feel what it would have been like to be there.
Right. And it's so sudden and it's so real.
Yeah.
It was done really, really well. Have you seen 1917? Another great film.
Did you see that one?
I did.
It's awesome, isn't it?
A spoiler alert for 1917. I kind of saw it coming that they were going to kill the second character. I was heavily pissed when it cut. The one cut in the film, the one like actual like cut to black. And then I went fucking livid in the theater. I was like, this is supposed to be a one shot. What the hell is that? Oh, it's 2 shots. You know, like, of course, like there's hidden cuts and stuff, but I was like, it was really well done. The soundtrack was perfect. It worked for it. And there was not a moment that felt boring in that film, which is a lot to say for a one-shot film, because you have to get really, really creative with what you do.
Yeah.
Because Steadicam the entire time can only be so enticing, you know, because when you're making a film, you choose when to use Steadicam, when to use tripod, when to use handheld. You know, it's like a balancing act. But with that film, you have to basically be using Steadicam the entire time.
Yeah, that movie is a work of art.
It is.
I have to say my favorite sequence in that whole movie was from the time he was running under the flares. I thought that was super cinematic, all the way up until really when he gets to the final guy, because I love the river scene. I thought the river scene was super cool.
Yeah.
And then I love the sequence of him getting to the camp where the guy's singing, and like he finally got there and he's like relaxing.
That was poetic. Honestly,
I was like,
crazy.
whoa, that was cool. And then him running across the battlefield, obviously.
I'd say
was
apart
awesome.
from that end, like what you're talking about, like at the end, I'd say like when they're in like those like tunnel things, like the bunkers, and then the explosion goes off and the tripwire, I jumped. I literally like was not expecting it. I was like, holy shit. And then it actually happened. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, the rat.
I was like, holy shit, they're gonna die.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was crazy. I mean, the rats were obviously CGI. Like, it was so blatantly obvious that the rats were CGI, but it was still so well done that I barely noticed it.
Yeah.
It kind of went well with it, you know.
I wasn't expecting the rat to set off the tripwire like that.
Yeah.
Just like instantly. Like,
I was like,
yeah.
That was done so well. Also, the acting in that film, crazy good.
Yeah, I tried to stay as far away from. Whenever I watch a new movie, I try not to watch. stay away from any hints or anything about the movie because I try to go in blind to every movie I watch. I had no
Apart
idea.
from maybe the trailer.
Right, apart from like the trailer. I had no idea Benedict Cumberbatch was in that movie.
Really?
Yeah, so when it got to the very end and he turns around, I was like, what? I was like, that's awesome.
I did know that Benedict Cumberbatch was going to be in it. Granted, there was like a lot of, there was that one British actor that was at the beginning that was like telling them what they were going to do and when they were going to go. He was in Sherlock for a while, and he's also a really good actor. I think he was also in an episode of Black Mirror and Dunkirk, I think maybe. But I was really excited to see them, but I was surprised how sparingly they use. Like when you have Benedict Cumberbatch in a movie, you use him for most of the movie. You don't put him at the end of the film,
right.
you know, and he barely has 20 lines, you know?
Yeah.
But it was so well done because it's a recognizable face, but it was like sprinkled in, you know?
And I love the fact that, well, I know the director, first of all, director of Skyfall, which is another masterpiece. He wanted to cast 2 unknown actors.
2 unknowns, yeah.
Yeah, which I think is super cool because it adds a more realistic feel to the entire movie, you know?
And the guy who leads the entire film, he totally has like a World War I sort of vibe going with him.
He does.
He looks like someone that would be in that era.
Yeah.
Which is super cool.
That's a good point.
Yeah. The other guy didn't look so much like he would, but I still bought it, you know.
Right, yeah.
I still bought the tickets to the film. You know, I still really like the movie.
Yeah. I think we should try a one-take short film.
A one-take short film
like
would
with
be
cuts
really
and
fun.
stuff, but
with hidden cuts.
Yeah, hidden cuts.
That'd be really fun. We need a Steadicam before we can even we do the entire thing. I mean, we could do the entire thing handheld, but the Steadicam would definitely make things a bit easier.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, those films though, so good. So very good.
I also love Uncut Gems, the visuals, the colorway they went with. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Cinematography in both of those films were really good. I was watching Casino Royale today, and I'm honestly unimpressed, unfortunately.
Really?
Some cinematography choices, some green screening was obvious. Obviously, like the stunts and the action's like great, but it just felt like needless, endless action.
Sure.
Because when they reboot the Bond franchise, you're gonna be like, there's no stakes. They're rebooting the Bond franchise. There's gonna be 5 more films, you know. So it did not feel like there's any stakes. Versus you watch a movie like Uncut Gems, and you know, we didn't know, and it's totally possible that before the film came out that there could have been a franchise and there would have been 5 other movies planned for it, but there's no way of knowing because it's like a new, what's the word? It's just like a
standalone.
Yeah, it's like a standalone thing, and that's all that we know about. But we've heard Bond so many times, you know?
Yeah.
So when you hear, oh, there's the Bond franchise is going to get rebooted, you're going to be like, oh, okay, so about 5 movies, there's going to be no stakes. And
same with like Star
the
Wars.
final film, he'll get killed. Yeah, exactly.
Marvel, Star Wars. Yeah.
That's why I like seeing these, you know, new films come out, and it feels like there's actually stakes. That's what makes the movies like
original,
memorable. Yeah. For a long time, the Marvel films didn't feel like they ever did have stakes, but Infinity War completely blew that out of the water.
I think
which was really good.
I love the way they did that, like building you all the way up until the end. Because I don't know if I said this on the show before, but like when I was watching Infinity War, and like I was nervous at every single part,
and
like,
I knew it was gonna happen too.
Yeah, like when Iron Man got stabbed, I literally like stood up in the theater. I was like,
everyone in the theater.
Yeah, I was like, I want my money back. And then, I was like pissed because like I said, like I had grinded all the Marvel movies right up until that point.
You're like, motherfucker.
Yeah, and I was like, no. I hate how we had to wait a year for Endgame to come out.
Yeah,
because I feel like that really took away a lot of momentum.
Yeah, because Captain Marvel came out and it was not good. And I don't mean that because I hate Brie Larson. I mean because it's a carbon fucking copy of Guardians of the Galaxy, which it is. The style, the music, it's basically just like copying it did not feel like a good film. I only went and saw it because my friend wanted to, and I was like, sure, I'll go with you.
Yeah.
I need to see it anyways to make sure what I've been saying about it being trash is right. And it was right. It was trash. but
don't know.
definitely ruined the momentum.
Yeah, there was like if it would have come out like I don't know. But yeah, that's just my thoughts. Another thing I was gonna bring up was
Yes.
Oh shoot, what was I gonna say? Something about Marvel. I'll think of it.
Okay. Okay, so we're gonna go away from the film topics just for a second. We were talking about NBA earlier. I'm sure you heard the news.
Yep.
The NBA going forward has been canceled the rest of the season.
It's insane.
What are your thoughts?
Okay. My thoughts on the whole coronavirus thing is
Well, first of all, do you know who Mark Cuban is?
yeah.
Okay, so there's a scene, or there's like someone recorded him. He was on the court, like at like a game, like yesterday or the night before, whenever it was like announced that like they're canceling the rest of the NBA season, and he was literally reading the news that NBA was canceled while he's at a game courtside, and he's like, "What the." There's no video, so like you guys can't know, but he was like throwing his head around and he's like wide-eyed looking at his fucking phone like there's no fucking way. I can't believe it.
Well, the thing is, did you watch Trump's speech on it yesterday?
I watched the little thing that he gave this morning about the travel ban to Europe.
So basically, I didn't get to watch the speech, but it was summarized for me. And from what it sounds like, I heard is very unifying, very, very well done speech. Basically, with the whole coronavirus thing is we can't underplay it because, yeah, it's a new deadly disease, but we also can't overhype it so much because 80,000 people died from the flu last year, but we don't talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's important to not be scared, but be wary, be informed, and be conscious of it,
and be hygienic.
Yes.
And yeah, I mean, I don't think closing down the NBA, I don't think that's necessary.
Right. Did you hear about what happened to that one school in Sioux Falls?
Mm-mm.
Did you not hear about that?
Which school?
I think it was West Central.
Oh, West Central got closed.
Yeah, they closed down because a parent confirmed of 2 students had coronavirus. So they shut the school off for the rest of the week, and they're going back Monday. They're doing a deep clean of the school.
Did you hear that Duke and Harvard are not having classes for the rest of the year?
The rest of the year?
The rest of the year.
Holy shit.
Yeah, they're doing online.
I think Augustana is not doing any...
they extended spring break for a week.
Yeah, another week, yeah. It's so insane. I mean, the good thing about my job is I can work from home mostly, and the funny thing is I like a couple days ago I go into the office and Mitchell's like Diana, one of the receptionist ladies, you know, the one that's always cowering when we put the camera at her.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, she's going to Ukraine in like 2 weeks. So she's gonna teach you some stuff. And I was like, okay, so what will I be learning? And I go to her, and she basically like does text blasts and email stuff. It's basically what I do for press releases, but it's straight to the customers, where you're like sending out like information about, hey, this is when we're going to be in your city, blah, blah, blah. And she taught me on that stuff. And then this morning, Trump goes, we're going to ban all travel from Europe starting Friday at midnight. And it affects 26 countries, I think, but not the UK. He didn't say I think, by the way.
That was a pretty good impression.
And then, so I was kind of freaking out because, I mean, it's a good thing that they are putting in a travel ban for 30 days because even though it started in China, that area is kind of a hot spot right now.
Do you remember when everybody was freaking out on Trump for closing the borders on China right away? And look what would have happened if we should have done it. Yeah.
Like, I don't remember that happening or him threatening to do that. But I do remember when this broke out immediately that I think I was kind of, I don't know, I was half and half with it because, you know, when Ebola happened, it was like, oh, it barely fucking spread here and we didn't close our borders. But then again, this is like a completely new thing, you know.
Yeah.
There's no way of knowing, basically, and you can't criticize something that you know nothing about. Anyways, so he does that, and he announced this travel ban for 30 days. And I text Mitchell and I go, do you know if Diana is still going to Ukraine? Even though Ukraine isn't one of the countries that has a travel ban on it, I don't think. I'm pretty sure that she's not going anymore, which is crazy. Imagine how much money she forked down for a flight out there. It's crazy how she just can't go all of a sudden. She was going to be gone for like a month and a half to like visit family because, you know, she's like Russian and shit, whatever. Yeah. But yeah, like that's just like fucking insane. There's people in Spain who are like desperately trying to get back to America right now because they are Americans and they were just visiting and they're like, fuck, we don't want to be stuck here, you know? It's scary. But while flight prices are cheap, I'm buying tickets to California for a week. Hopefully you guys aren't filming the week that I'm gone, or at least nothing too like serious where you won't need me. But yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah, that's
hopefully I think it's gonna die down. I do think it will.
Yeah, I honestly think by the end of the week we're gonna have some more answers, and I think it's gonna start going away. I don't think this is gonna be something that gets worse and worse. I think we're at the peak right now.
I think it's gonna get worse for maybe another week or two at max, and then it's gonna start tanking.
Yeah.
Because this morning I think I woke up to like Italy. It might have been Italy. Italy went from like 300 deaths to 800 deaths in a day. Like they had 500 deaths in a day.
Really?
Granted, the thing to keep in mind about this is 80% of the cases of coronavirus are very mild. You know, most people, they have symptoms. They don't even realize that they have symptoms of it because that's how mild it is. You know, you're going to get sick from it. And it's basically like a very common strain of the flu. That's basically what it is. You know, you're going to feel like shit for maybe a week at most, and then you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Probably. The only people that are dying from it are people who are elderly, people who are very, very young. I think a few infants have died because, you know, infants don't have immune systems for shit. Mm-hmm. And then people with autoimmune diseases. So people who have bad immune systems.
Yeah.
But most people should be fine. And that's why it's really, really dumb that that fucking Walmarts are selling out of toilet paper. It's so dumb.
Yeah.
Because I understand why people are doing it, because when the coronavirus blew up in Wuhan City in China, they made people stay in their homes. The streets were barren. There were no one on the streets, and people were like forced to stay inside their homes. And I think that's why people are so scared, because they think that that's going to happen to America. But I don't think America even has the authority to do something like that.
Oh, man. I don't know. I just think people just need to be cautious.
Be clean. If you get sick, stay home.
Yeah.
And don't fucking... Okay, guys, if there isn't a podcast one of these weeks going forward, that means one of us or both got the coronavirus.
And are dead.
Or we just missed a week and yeah, or it's just, you know, super
we
simple.
either died or we're lazy.
We've either died, yeah. That's basically all it is. Okay, let's go to
commercial break.
Commercial. I just fucking hit. How? I hit my elbow on the desk. Let's go to commercial break really quick. Welcome
Here's
back.
a question. I'm going to test this out.
Okay.
Do you think this would make a panning sound if I had the mic over here?
Let's try. Did it? I guess we'll only know in the post. Right. Welcome to 30 minutes of us fucking around with microphones.
Yeah,
the second half. Okay. All right.
Anyways,
how are you doing?
What's that?
How are you doing?
Oh, I don't know. It's kind of been right on the cusp of film season right now. And
feeling anxious about
it
it?
kind of sucks. I just want to get there,
Yeah.
Because we don't got anything to film right now.
And I feel bad because I don't have a camera.
But you will.
And I won't have a camera for about a month.
You're on the cusp.
I'm on the cusp of getting a camera. But I have to be really smart with my money. When I did my budgeting, I've been budgeting, guys, because that's how adulty I am. I've been using spreadsheets. When I've been doing that, I haven't just been like taking my I'm gonna get paid every week and I just put all that money together. I'm also taking out, my student loan payment and what I owe for car insurance and my phone bill and Spotify and Adobe. I'm paying $250 for my student debt. I'm paying $70 in total for car insurance and phone. I'm paying $50 for Adobe at the beginning of each month. I'm paying $10 for Spotify and $1 for iCloud storage. And yet, in a month, I will still have enough money to buy the camera. It seems like it's a lot of money that I'm just like spending, just like, holy crap, Cole, $50 a month on Adobe. Like, geez, that bill for your student debt's big enough. But like, I budgeted it out because I get paid every week instead of every other week, and I can make it work.
You will.
I will
make it work.
So I'm super excited about that. I'm super excited to get my paycheck tomorrow and not touch it.
Yes.
and only touch it if I need gas.
Comes back in a Gucci suit.
Let me tell you a story.
Story time with Cole James Anderson.
Thank you. Do like a little.
This is Story Time with Grandfather Cole James Anderson.
I like that. Grandfather Cole James Anderson. Remember when we called each other Papa? Big Bob. I think we still do that.
We still do that.
Yeah, of course. Anyways.
Remember when we still do that?
Once upon a time, I sold my camera. And I did it initially because I wanted to get a new camera. I was like, I want a 4K camera. I think at the time I was shooting for the Blackmagic 4K. And then the same day that I sold the camera, cash in hand, I don't go put it in my bank account and be a smart person and just put it in my savings account or something so I don't touch it. I went to the mall and spent half of it the first day and then the second half the day after. Because last year I had a lot of... I was dumb. I'll just be straight up. I have never been really smart with my finances.
You're like Adam Sandler off Uncut Gems.
Right. When I have money, it burns a hole in my pocket. It's like, oh, fucking crazy. Oh, got it. I have it. I might as well spend it. Otherwise, I don't know what I'm going to do with this, It feels worthless to me if I do nothing with it. But I've realized that spending it right away is more worthless than saving it. And how am I supposed to do anything that I want to if I don't, save it? And now I have this trip to California and I want to buy a camera and I want to shoot a movie and I got to be really smart about my money. Yeah. And it's just, I beat myself up every single day because I don't have a camera anymore. Because that camera feels sometimes like my lifeline to like a happy day.
Yeah.
Being able to shoot.
That would kind of suck.
Yeah. Imagine you sold your camera tomorrow and then spent all the money immediately and you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah. What was going through your head?
I think I just had a problem with impulse buying.
It was a blur.
It's a blur.
It's all blur.
I blacked out and I woke up with 3 leather jackets and a couple of Gucci shoes. No, it was just I just have a big problem with like impulse buying and stuff and I'm trying to save money. I'm bringing sack lunch to work to save money on.
What do you usually bring?
Like a sandwich and cashews.
What's on the sandwich?
Sandwich is it depends on the day. Either salami, summer sausage, ham, or turkey. With the non and smoked varieties.
Sure.
Always mayonnaise. Sometimes I'll bring a little tiny bag of Doritos, and then I'll crunch them up and I'll put them in the sandwich because it makes it way better.
Oh, flavor crunch.
And then I have cashews because after I finish the sandwich, I'll put all that stuff away and I'll have the cashews in like a little snack bag, and I'll munch on that while I'm working.
Sure.
Because cashews, I can barely get through half a thing because, they're full of protein. They fill you up so much.
Yeah.
You get bloated, you're kind of like, ugh.
But they're just tasty as all heck fire.
They're also super tasty too. When I found out I liked cashews, I was like, nice. Something healthy I can finally eat.
Did you wash your hands before and after eating?
I wash my hands whenever there's... I don't always wash my hands. I always wash my hands before eating. I don't always wash my hands after eating because depending on the thing, like if I'm going to end up with greasy ass hands or hands covered in salt or something, then of course I'll wash my hands. But there are those rare instances where you're like eating with like a fork or something,
right.
or, and it's like relatively clean where you don't need to wash your hands.
Sure.
I have made it like guys are so gross, like commonly, just because most of them don't wash their hands after going to the bathroom, even if it's just a piss. Wash your hands after a piss.
It's just common courtesy.
It's just common, guys. With the fucking coronavirus going around.
I mean, if you just wipe your butthole and then you expect me to shake your hand,
yeah.
Like first of all, I'm not gonna know that you just wiped your butthole, so that's disrespectful.
True. I don't want to shake a man's hand if he's just touched his penis.
I'm not gonna shake his canned hand. Second of all, yeah. Second of all, if I get poop on my hand because of you, someone's getting dropped.
When you smell something, you're actually smelling particles of that thing. So like if you've ever smelled poop has been in your nose.
Really?
Yeah. It's really gross.
That's nasty.
Yeah. I'm sorry to ruin your day.
That's awful. That's awful.
Cole introduces a new segment, Ruining Your Day.
Yeah.
Did you know?
Cole's day ruining facts.
Slavery is still real. Oh, Cole. There are internment camps in China, and there are people there working for blah, blah, blah. Cole, shut
Silly
up.
Cole.
I was having a good day.
Did you know? Oh, never mind.
Did you know coronavirus actually is worse than you think it is? God damn it, Cole. 8
million people are projected to die. Silly Cole. Why would you tell me that?
Silly Cole. Do you have any projects coming up for YouTube? Is Dorn Boomin returning? Possibly, maybe making like just a small return.
Honestly, right now, Late Night Boomin's the thing.
Late Night Boomin is it?
That's the thing now.
So, is there any word with Late Night Boomin currently?
Still in the works.
Still in the works.
We figured out that your dad won't be able to help us,
right?
Which sucks.
Wait, why?
Because they want it to be quote unquote all USF students.
Oh, what the hell?
So I'm like, well, we better get somebody that knows what they're doing then.
Could Dawson buy us off? Because Dawson, my dad trained Dawson.
Johnson?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So
that's something to figure out.
He might be.
Do you have any YouTube projects in the works?
In the works right now?
Any YouTube?
I'm trying to, once I have the camera, I want to make consistent YouTube videos. Not every week. Every week is too much for me. Every 2 weeks, I want to make like some sort of filmmaking education where I talk about, making a narrative film versus a documentary, or writing a screenplay, like what it's like doing it the first time. Just like, editing my documentary, just like things that I know that I can use to help other people. There's a problem I have. Let me vent real quick.
Yes.
Robert Welch will not, for the life of him, storyboard his upcoming short film. Even though I have told him over and over, you will save so much time on set.
It's worth it, Robert. Trust me. It's worth it.
It's worth it. So let's give an example. Let's do a day on set when we didn't have storyboards on
Slick Trigger 2019 full length movie.
Unfortunately, the full movie, Slick Trigger 2019. We were doing really well not bringing it up, but we have to talk about this for Robert's sake.
Right. So this is This is logical.
Right. This is logical. Okay. So how about, oh, you know what? Here's a great example. The Cyrus reveal scene.
Try an 8-hour day versus a 2-hour day.
Exactly. Because that when we had to reshoot that also 3 different times.
We reshot it
2 times. Excuse me. We shot it
4
times. 4 times. Okay. So we did
because the blood.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay. So
4
we did reshoot it 3 times. We reshot it 3 times after shooting it once, which is 4 total shoots.
Right. The first 3 we didn't have storyboards.
First 3 we didn't.
The final time I'm like, screw it, I'm gonna drop a storyboard. I drew a storyboard and it was gold.
And it helped everything, because we didn't realize that we were missing something until the editing room. And the thing about storyboards is it's all there in front of you.
Exactly.
You see the shots without them being done, but you know what you're missing and what you're not missing. So you'll know when you forget something because you have a shot list.
It's so worth it.
It's so worth it.
So worth it.
And then let's talk about, the day when we did that giant, where was it? In Sioux Falls with all those people. It was like the opening scene.
At the El Ride Shrine.
El Ride Shrine.
It was a classic day.
We had storyboards that day. And it was a fast day. We were in and out in 4 hours.
I mean, and that was so helpful being that we had at least 30 people there.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have a lot of people on set, I mean, even when you don't have a lot of people, it's out of respect for the actors that you want to know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Respect for people on set.
If we would have showed up with no storyboards, it would have been a train wreck.
Yes.
Honestly. Just because, what if I feel like every time we get on set and we don't have storyboards, it's, oh, maybe you do this angle. Oh, that didn't feel right.
Yeah.
Maybe do this.
The storyboard
okay.
is like, okay, we have it. If you want to do another type of shot, you can do it, but you have the original idea.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because you can sit down and you can figure all that stuff out beforehand.
Yes.
Of course, we can be spontaneous and get extra shots if we need to. That's the one thing that I feel about Guerrilla, that Guerrilla kind of, it benefits, but it also doesn't from the filmmaking style that we shoot it in.
Yeah. There's parts of it that are great and there's parts of it that are not great.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's why I'm looking forward to Guerrilla the movie.
The movie, yeah, because that'll be...
We'll have it planned out, but it'll still be somewhat improv, you know?
Of course, yeah. That'll be super. I'm a little upset right now just because South by Southwest was canceled due to the coronavirus, and that was one of the film festivals that I was gonna submit to.
Ugh.
And it might look like, because everything's getting canceled. Fucking NBA E3 got canceled, I heard.
MLB spring training got delayed.
I'm scared that Sundance is gonna get... The year I decide to make my first feature film and I want to put it in all these film festivals, they're like, actually, you're gonna have to wait till next year.
Wait, so we can't even submit them like in the fall?
If they're all canceled.
They're canceling them for like next year already?
They're canceling them for this year. The ones for this year.
Oh, well, we're gonna submit for next year, right?
I mean,
we make them this summer, submit them in the fall.
Right, that was the plan
for the spring festivals.
I
don't know when
I'm
the
still
festivals
trying to
are,
figure
actually.
everything out. The whole film, I'm not like a film festival connoisseur.
Yeah.
So I think that because Sundance decided, I don't know. Either way, it may or may not be a problem. I could just be freaking out over nothing, and that it's in spring and whatever. It's in the spring of next year. But I was just fucking livid.
Yeah.
I was like, there's
an outrage.
Imagine your short film or your film got approved for South by Southwest, and the next day they're like, we canceled it.
Idea.
Sorry. What?
Just popped in. It was birthed.
It
just came out of my brain's womb.
Oof. Oh, whoa, that's weird. My brain's womb.
It was a sudden birth.
Is your brain's womb
Wait.
I don't want to overthink.
It was
this.
birthed into my brain,
and you're gonna birth it on the podcast into the mic. So so
birthing into
the mouth
public.
is the hypothetical vagina.
Yes.
Releasing the baby.
Yes, Dr. Cole, will you deliver my mouth baby, please? Okay, this is weird. All right, listen. we create our own film festival.
I have actually thought about that. You remember
When you were going to do the thing?
Yeah, small YouTuber.
Small
awards.
YouTube channel talk.
Small YouTube channels. Yeah, because we were going to do a small YouTube channels awards.
At Trinity.
That would have been sick. We didn't get very far in pre-production of that, but it was a cool idea.
It was a really cool idea. What if we made our own film
Sioux
festival?
Falls needs a film festival.
They do. With all the stuff they do?
Yeah.
Come on.
I'm surprised Sioux Falls doesn't have a film festival.
They need one.
Yeah. That would be a fun thing to organize. That'd be a hell to organize.
Oh.
And we'd need a budget of some sort.
And of course, we'd make ourselves win.
Well, of course.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a little weird if we ran it and then we're also like,
we win every
best
year.
picture of the Sioux Falls Film Festival goes to
me.
Wow.
Another year. Wow. You're the best.
Fifth year in a row. Thanks, guys.
Everybody's just sick of it. At
It's
that.
an empty theater.
Yeah. Making zero profit.
Your mom's there like, woo!
Yeah.
I think that would be fun. Maybe we shouldn't organize it. Maybe we should tell some people.
We'll get Mitchell to do it.
Mitchell and Sean.
Yes.
That would be a great. That would be super fun. Because Mitchell has a very interesting taste in films.
Yes.
Which is interesting.
What films does he like?
He doesn't like Marvel movies. Which, like, I get if you don't like Marvel movies, but like, I don't know. It's just a bit. I can't really find a film that like everyone kind of generally agrees on is good with him. Granted, I don't talk with him about movies a lot as it is, so maybe I just don't have the right.
Does he listen to the podcast?
I don't know.
Mitchell, if you're out there, what's up?
Just watch The Dark Knight.
Yes.
I had a conversation with someone about The Dark Knight. They said unoriginal and overrated.
Okay. Who was it? Who we have to hunt down?
Brandon Friesen.
Brandon
Friesen.
What do you think you're doing? Is it the guy that made the intro for this?
Yeah.
Okay, Brandon, first of all, let me tell you
we
something.
We want our money back. No, we're kidding.
As much as I want to respect your opinion, I don't.
It's I mean, like, I understand why someone might have that idea, but it's also one of the best films I've ever made.
It is.
Or
You've ever made.
Could you imagine if I made The Dark Knight?
Yeah, well, we were working on
one of the
Dark
best
Knight.
films that I've seen. Excuse me.
Yes.
You know, I'm actually Christopher Nolan's manager.
Yes. Anderson. It's under the umbrella of Anderson Visuals.
Yeah. No, it's like one of the best, and then also Logan is on that spectrum too. Just because Logan is just
wonderful
so good.
movie.
I was watching a clip of it, the clip where X-24 comes down the staircase in the house, and he's holding the girl. Is she X-23?
Yeah.
He's holding the girl, and she's like passed out, and he is face to face with his own clone, and it's just so. I don't know how I never noticed this the first time, but watching it again, it just feels so eerie seeing that, because there's no on-site rivalry. They don't start fighting. They just look each other dead in the eyes and walk past each other like it's a jaw-dropping moment. Like, oh my. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
It's like a timeless like scene.
That is so true. I really want to rewatch that movie. How much time we got? Do I got time to bring something up?
Sure. We got 10 minutes.
Okay, perfect. Kind of tying it all in, I guess, bringing it back to the very start with the whole earrings thing. I don't think we ever talked about our boy, Post Malone.
Oh, yeah, we should talk about this.
Okay, first of all, before we get into what's been happening recently, what is your overall opinion on Post Malone?
I like him. He's one of my favorite artists right now.
As an artist and as a person.
As a person, he's the homie. You know what I'm saying? He's cool. He's a bro. He's like a really nice guy. And he makes dope ass fucking music. Like, what isn't there to like?
What's not to love
saying?
about that? Yeah. So I was watching his thing today, and he was like, "Yeah, when I was in middle school, I used to wear suits to school." And he's like, "It was on Hot Ones."
Yeah. Okay.
And he was like, "Really? Why would you wear suits to school?" He's like, "Well, just because I wanted to." he's like, I didn't want to be like everybody else. And he's like, people don't like it when you're different.
Mm-hmm.
People don't like it when you try to do different things.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of think that's for us a lot. I mean, with filming and following, I mean, because that's not a normal thing to do at our age, especially.
And a lot of people despise us for it because they're always like, "Oh, you're not going to get anywhere trying to do that."
They try
And
to
it's
shut
like,
us down.
How the fuck do you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you.
What are you doing to go
I'm not
after
gonna
your
work in an
dream?
office for the rest of my life. You can
Yeah.
have that opinion, but you're not going to be the one to actually, people dream about like, oh, I want to win the lottery and get $1 billion and I would do all this. And I'm like, why don't you earn it?
Yeah, exactly. Like what steps have you taken? This is actually I was at an interview earlier this week for a job that I'm not going to take.
For a job that you're not going to take? So we can talk about it on the podcast.
Yeah. So he was like, what is your overall like dream in life? So I told him like, oh, I mean, I want to make movies, go big that way. And then he said, what steps have you taken to get there? And I think that's a really good question for people to ask themselves. Like, if you have something that you want to do, what steps are you taking to get there? How are you doing it different than everybody else? Like Post Malone said, like my dad says, you don't want to be one of the million. You want to be one in the million. That's
it. Yeah. That's where it's at.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I don't know. Have you seen the things that have been coming out about Post Malone lately?
Yeah. So earlier this week, it was either earlier this week or late last week, a lot of stuff coming out about him. People were worried about him because he was acting a little goofy at shows. And honestly, I watched some of the clips and I was like, no, that's just Post being a little eccentric, which he is. He's a little goofy. There's thing. Like sometimes he threw up his hand up in the air and he's like doing like this little thing, and he smashed a guitar. He's just being eccentric. He's being a good guy.
Yeah.
And then there was one clip where he was like screaming into the mic, and I was like, that's a little weird, but maybe it's just out of context. But I was worried about all the stuff that people were saying. Obviously, we don't want another repeat of like Amy Winehouse or Lil Peep or something.
That's what I was worried about. Like when I first saw those videos, like I knew like Post is like his own man, and
if Post, like I don't really feel emotionally connected to like a lot of like celebrities or a lot of musicians, but Post Malone is one of those celebrities that if he died, I would take a week off.
Yeah,
because I would be torn apart.
And that's the thing. Like I knew that he's like his own guy, and he's like wild and stuff, and on stage. And I started seeing the videos, and I was like, oh yeah, that's like somebody sent me the video of him singing Rockstar and like screaming, and I was like, the first thing I sent back was like, what a beast, like I love Posey. And then he's like, no, there's people that are concerned about him now. They think he's struggling with addiction. I was like, what? I started looking at all these videos, and people are like, this is not normal. Like I didn't know what's normal because I haven't seen him on stage and stuff. So I was like, is this not normal for him? Because like that's really weird if it is.
See,
like,
I thought it was just him being eccentric, and honestly, that's what it looked like.
And I didn't know because I'd never seen him on stage. It's like, okay, well, if this isn't normal, then that's really weird, But if it is normal, like, okay, yeah, that's Posty,
Right.
Which is why when he said us on stage, he was like, guys, I'm on anything harder than alcohol. Like, thank you guys for your concern.
And he talked about he's like I used to do drugs, but I don't anymore.
Yeah.
And I believe him. It looks like he is taking care of himself, even though he smokes and he drinks a lot.
We're just worried about him.
That's all it is. And he respects that, which is happy. If I ever got to meet that dude, holy shit.
That'd be awesome.
Dude, I'm putting him in my movie just like they did with The Weeknd,
Yes. That'd be sick.
We gotta have.
Speaking of which, I was gonna go to the Zach Brown concert here in Sioux Falls. All his spring concert dates got postponed.
Really?
Yes, I'm pissed.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy.
Yeah.
What the hell?
I know what's going on.
What the hell?
You can't tell me for 1 second Hillary's not behind this.
It's all Hillary Clinton.
Hillary, that George Soros, Hillary Clinton,
Trump, and
it's Joe
China
Biden and Russia
Russia. This is Sanders. They're just trying to.
Yeah, Jimmy Kimmel's behind it.
Jimmy Kimmel. You know what? Jimmy Kimmel's the one person I can see.
Yeah, he's the mastermind.
He's kind of a sleazy little.
What's he going
host.
On over there?
No one watches Jimmy Kimmel and likes it. We all watch Fallon or Corbin.
Fallon's our boy. Yeah,
come on. No one likes Kimmel.
Come on.
Kimmel. We go on Kimmel and
like,
someone's
so
like,
Kimmel,
maybe you should listen to this. No, yeah, that's just. I mean, I'm just really happy that he did come out and he addressed it, because I think the biggest worry is that he wouldn't address it, but there was so much talk. There's so many people talking about it.
Yeah. That's what got me worried.
Yeah. Honestly, it spread like wildfire.
Yeah.
I think it might have been like 1 or 2 claims, and then all of a sudden this fucking thing blew up and everyone was sharing videos.
Mm-hmm.
But it's good. It's a good thing that people are looking after him.
Yeah, that's right.
Because people weren't looking after Amy Weinstein, and she.
Winehouse.
Yeah. Weinstein.
Yeah. I mean, like Juice WRLD, like we just didn't want another instance like that.
Right. Yeah.
So in
conclusion,
what's the main points that we hit today for people to remember?
Wash your hands, be cleansy,
Cleansy. Be yourself.
Be yourself.
Do it different.
Do different.
Work towards your dreams.
And don't go to any NBA games because they're all canceled.
Yeah, so you won't be able to.
Sorry, guys. But the podcast will be out every week until episode 20th. And then season 2 is going to come out a month after that. So we won't be delaying this podcast for the coronavirus unless we die.
Let's go.
Let's do it. All right. I think that's a nice place to end it.
Yeah. You guys are the best.
You guys are the best. Check us out on, Jack, you go.
The Cheese Puff, Storm Boomin'. Wait, no. Check out Anderson Visuals, Cole James, and CJA Visuals on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter.
Good job.
That's it.
We might
maybe
be on
Facebook.
We might be on Facebook. And don't forget to check out Dorm Boomin', Late Night Boomin'. Jack just got his own personal Instagram. So yeah, check out Late Night Boomin' and Dorm Boomin' and the Cheese Puffs on YouTube and Instagram. They don't have a Twitter, but they might have a Facebook. And then also, I just started this new Instagram project where I'm posting Polaroids that I
saw
take.
that. I followed it.
So
follow
that, please.
Polaroids.
At Coles.Polaroids.
Yeah. That's right.
Because Cole's Polaroids and Cole's Polaroid and Cole Polaroid were all taken. So I had to put a dot in there.
I like the dot. It's classy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It makes it feel a little, prestigious.
It's prestigious.
Exactly.
It's exquisite.
Okay. Thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast. Don't get the coronavirus. We'll see you next week.
Thank you for listening to Small YouTube Channels Talk Podcast with Cole James Anderson and Jack Unruh. And don't forget, new episodes every Friday.